Howdy, folks. What's going on? This is the Outlaw Hatfield running really late tonight. Um, I got wrapped up in the whole bracket over there on Never Enough Ammo's thing, and I knew from the beginning who was going to come out on top on that crap. But
Oh my god. You want to hear a good one? The last thing I heard before I left watching Matt's chat just now, G-Webs just said Jackie Chan doesn't know how to speak English.
well, he's
Jackie Chan's from fucking Hong Kong. The man knows English. He has spoken English in American interviews with people. He speaks English very fucking well.
he's just got a bit of an accent.
Yeah, but he speaks fluent English.
Yeah. Anyway, before we get started, I would like to say congratulations to the state of Kentucky. As of today, they are now a constitutional carry state. Congratulations. This is what happens when the people of the state put the right people in office. So let's take a hint from them and let's see if we can get more states to follow suit.
Well, Gary and I already live in states that have done it before Kentucky.
Well, hopefully South Carolina won't be far behind. So, but then again, we've been hoping that for years. You know what's really weird is the fact that West Virginia has become a constitutional carry state, and they have had Democrats in office there for as long as I can remember.
The only Democrat that's in any major office now is Manchin, and he's moderate. And the only reason why he's still in the Senate is because there was a third party guy that took votes from the Republicans.
Yeah. You know, I think that we really need to start looking at the third party candidates a little closer. Honestly, at this point in time, you really can't trust the Republicans. You can't trust the Democrats.
Well,
I think a lot of the independent third party candidates have got great ideas, and most of them are quite conservative.
so the guy that was running for the Senate against Manchin on the Republican ticket is the Attorney General for West Virginia, who took a shit ton of things to court against the federal government when Obama was in office. He's one of the guys that was fighting Obamacare. He was fighting. Oh, shit, I forget also. There was one of the anti-gun things that they proposed that he was fighting over with Obama. There was a bunch of shit. I mean, this guy is a good dude. It's a shame we had this third party guy run because he would have been a great senator.
Yeah, well, looking at the way things are running right now, I am interested in seeing how the next presidential election is going to run. I do not believe Donald Trump is going to get another term. I really, truly don't. He's failed on the whole Second Amendment thing completely all the way
That's not
around.
going to be as big of an issue as what people think it's going to be. More people are going to be looking at immigration. More people are going to be looking at the economy. And those are things that they're going to vote on. Just because we're all Second Amendment doesn't mean everybody in the country is.
Well, I understand that, but a lot of the Second Amendment people that voted for him the first time around ain't going to make that mistake twice.
You want to bet? Look who the Democrats are running against. Them.
Yeah, we'll see. But I honestly do not see that happen. Speaking of the next presidential election, the other day, that video Matt posted, I can't remember which one it was, but it was one of his pro-gun videos, and the ad for the video was a liberal talking about anti-gun issues, and I was like, wow. There's no way that's a coincidence. That was put there on purpose. So he's talking pro gun in the video. There's an anti-gun ad on it. I think that's just a little fucked up. What was the guy's name? John Hickenlooper.
Oh God, that's the
And,
guy that put all the gun control shit in Colorado
yeah,
when he
yeah,
was governor. Yeah.
yep. But that's the guy that ad was running on NEA's video, and I was like, I sent him a message about it, and he's like, that is fucked up, and I said, yeah, it really is.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, Gary, how are you, tonight, sir?
Man, I just fine as can be. How are you?
I am good. Sorry, I'm late.
Well, it wasn't your fault. Everything drug out.
Oh well, they got late, started on that bracket, and I had to see how that bracket was going to end, as if I didn't already know. Did you watch it? I told them at the beginning, hey, look, this is the way this bracket's going to go. It's going to get down to Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, and
Yeah.
Chuck Norris is going to take it.
Yeah, I was watching.
I figured it was going to be Bruce Lee versus Chuck Norris, but I wasn't putting bets on who was going to win.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But I was just sitting there going, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, I already knew this shit.
And then Matt getting all butthurt because Jackie Chan lost to Chuck Norris. That was hilarious.
Yeah, well, Jackie Chan is great, but in all reality, I don't think you take them both in their prime. I do not think Jackie could take Chuck Norris.
Yeah, I don't know where people were getting that Bruce Lee was a fighter. There's only one documented street fight that Bruce Lee was ever in, and he got his ass handed to him.
Now, what do I know? I'm just a hillbilly from West Virginia. So what's going on with you two? Anything new?
Went to work today.
You what?
Went to work today.
Oh, did you come back glowing in the dark?
No.
Well, then nothing exciting happened there.
Let's see. I'm almost ready to complete the next phase on my Mossberg project.
Oh, and what's that?
I ordered the paracord to do the sling mounts, so I'll be able to. So it's supposed to be here tomorrow, and I'll be able to get the sling mounted on it.
Cool deal. You gonna put out some videos on that?
I wish I didn't even think of doing it. I don't have any before or after what it looked like before.
Oh well.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it. It was like I thought. It was like the other day. I'm looking at. I'm like, God damn it! I should have done something. I should have done something like on Instagram or something with this thing.
Hindsight's 20/20, they say.
Yeah. Well, at least I could do like a before and after by like using one of the stock photos or something.
Be interesting to see how it turns out.
Well, it's almost done now. The only thing I got left on it is the sling mounts, which I can show you real quick what I'm going to do with it once I get the paracord here. Turn my camera on. Okay.
Oh God, here goes the neighborhood.
Yeah, oh, you see right here, right? You see that gap between the castle nut and where the buffer tube right here between that little gap right there between where the buffer tube gets wide again. And I'm going to put the paracord right in that little gap. And then up here on the front, I'm going to wrap the paracord around where the piece where the barrel connects to the magazine tube, right in there, where it wraps around like here and then around, and then have a loop on this side and have a loop up here, so I can attach the sling that I already got. I already bought the sling. I didn't get that. Yeah, it's sitting right here. So I got paracord sling for it to put on there. So I'm going to put that on there. And then the next part's going to be the pistol grip. Right now I got an A2 grip on there. I'm going to get the one from Indignant Firearms or whatever it was called. Indignant Arms, that's what it is. It's the one that's got like the aluminum frame and then you have the wood scales on it. Let me see if I can find that link and I'll screen share that so you see what I'm talking about. I don't know if you've seen that. I think Gary, you have.
I don't think I have.
Oh.
I think
I showed it
it'll
on.
be an interesting project when you get it finished. What is that? A 12 gauge or the 20?
That's the 20.
Okay. See, I wouldn't mind having a shockwave in a 20 gauge. I honestly don't see a sense in a 12. I just don't personally see a sense in having a 12.
You know why I got the 20? Because Sarge had the 12 and he wanted to know how they compared. So they had it at the local gun shop. So on a whim, I went and bought it.
If I was going to buy one, I'd buy the 20 probably.
Yeah, that's me. Hey, Biker Bob, I see you out there. I see you, hottie.
I don't think I'd screw
Four
with
conservatives out there, Seven Wonders. Who else have got running around hiding? Kinky's out there.
4 conservatives, 7. Let's see, you got 7 Wonders on there.
Stephen Dawkins, how are you, sir?
Yeah,
we got a pretty good show going here.
You see that? That's the grip I want to put on it.
That is actually nice. I like that.
Yeah, he's got the aluminum frame and then it's got like wooden scales on the side. And they sell different scales, so if you want to change the color or whatnot. Or if you just want the aluminum frame to make your own scales, they sell just the aluminum frame too.
That is cool.
They got all kinds of different things. Yeah, so you can just get the aluminum frame if you want. You can get it in different colors. And then, like, if you know how to, if you got the tools to do it, you can make your own scales however you want them, and just put them on that frame.
So how much do you have into that right now?
Right now, let's see. The forend was how much was that for? The forend I think was like 26. The pistol grip I already had. This was off of my AR. I bought a different grip and put that on the AR and just put it on here. The brace kit. Well, I didn't get the brace kit. The adapter to where I could put the brace on it.
Oh Lord, I forgot Obnoxious. I'm sorry, Obnoxious. Please forgive me. I didn't see you out there, sir.
I think the adapter to put the buffer tube on it was 20, if I remember right. I don't remember for sure, but I'm thinking that's what it was. The brace was an old one I already had. That was 100, I think, when I bought it. But that was the other one. This is the old one off of my AR because I got the SBA 3 and put that on my AR, and then put this one on here with the pistol tube that I had on that. So I really didn't buy these for the project itself, but they got put on there. And then it was $10 for the sheet of Velcro that I got the side saddle on there with, and then the side saddle was 15, I think. So, and then with the shotgun itself, that was around 400. I paid for the 20 gauge Shockwave. So, yeah, probably about 500 right now.
That ain't bad.
Yeah. Oh, and then I got the XS sight on there, and that was 69, I think. So, yeah, probably about 570 episodes after the sight on.
I am thinking about taking that front sight off of the shotgun I've got. It's got that high post front sight and the peep sight in the rear. I'm thinking about taking that peep sight off and just putting a bead in the front.
Well, this goes over the bead. I actually had to replace the original bead that was on there because of the way it's made. Because Mossberg has a little nut shape at the bottom, so that you can put a wrench on there to tighten it and loosen it for elevation and whatnot. So I took that bead off and I put the one that came with the XS sight, and then you just epoxy this on, and you wouldn't even know that I had that on there if you looked at it. I don't know how close I can get that to where you can see. You do not see any glue or anything. That looks like it came from the factory.
Yeah, it's just I don't I don't really need a sight on a shotgun. Just long
Well,
as
this is easier to find. If you hold a shotgun with that on there, because that's basically like having your bead sight on there, but it's white with with the black on it. It's like with, and then you got the night sight in the middle of it. It's much easier to pick that up than it is one of those little beads. And you pick that up right away, especially if you have like trouble with your eyes. I mean, that thing just boom, it stands out.
yeah.
You know,
Speaking of,
when I cut that shotgun of mine down and I bought a bead sight from Brownells, the new one that came was a little bit bigger than the one I had on there, and it's nice and bright, and you can pick it up pretty easy. I like it.
I trying to decide exactly what I'm going to do with it. I just I think I just prefer to have a regular bead on there to those front and rear sights. Um, Maybe that's just because I'm old school. You know,
That's me too. Just give me a close to a regular shotgun as you can.
just all you need is a bead with a shotgun. You ain't got to get fancy with it. I ain't looking for pinpoint accuracy out of a 12 gauge. I ain't using slugs. I'm using buckshot. So if I if I put it at if I aim it towards your chest at 25 yards, it's going to be pretty much right where I want it. So, but like I said, I'm just old fashioned. Speaking of that, Gary, have you bought anything new lately?
Gun wise,
Yeah.
probably the last thing I bought was a package of snap caps a couple weeks ago. Well, I did get some patches, but speaking of patches, did you see that the 2A patch batch campaign got fully funded yesterday?
Did it?
Yeah,
Very good. Very good.
you better believe it. It's around 11,000 right now.
Huh.
Last I looked.
Very good. This is what happens when we start doing the leg work. Things start getting done, and we need to do more of it.
It
You
took
know
a
what
lot
I'm
of people to help, but
you know what I'm thinking we need to do
what's that?
is sometime over the next little while is get everybody together like we did last time and have ourselves another countrywide capital rally, just like NEA did before us. Except this time, get people out there, get them talking, spread the word. Hey, we're going to do it on this date across the nation. You know,
Yeah, I've been wondering when we were going to do that because it seems like it was April last year when they did that.
it was before. It was the year before. It's been a year and a half, 2 years since we've done the last one.
Well, the one we did was yeah, but my
But
state had one last year right around April, as I recall. Of course, they had governor elections going on too, so that may have something to do with it.
I think it's time that we had one just nationwide capital rallies. Everybody goes. Show up, show your support for the Second Amendment. Yeah, I think it's. I think that we're probably past due for another one. And me and Night Strike headed up the last one here, and on such limited time that we had a pretty good turnout. So I was happy about it. Uh, Hopefully we can get more people to show up the next time around.
Well, there are some bigger creators from my state, far bigger than me, like KS Gun Guy and stuff like that, that have lots of followers, but they're not on gun channels. I wish we could get more people from my state in gun channels.
That would be wonderful. And I'll tell you something else too. Some of the other gun channels, the bigger ones that are not on gun or that are not on national gun channels needs to be. Um, I wouldn't expect a Hickok 45 to show up over there, because you know I'm going to say something that's going to be a bit controversial, but I pretty much agree with what Yankees' assessment is of Hickok. He's, he's a shield. Let's call it like we said. Um, I'm not a fan. I've watched a couple of his videos here and there, but and years ago I subscribed to him.
Oh, I did
Hell,
too.
I still might be subscribed to him. I haven't checked, but um, when you start thinking about how these guys are pushing the NRA. What the hell has the NRA done for us in the last 5 years? Nothing. They've done absolutely nothing for us. So there's a whole lot better groups out there that actually will not bargain with our rights. So these are the groups I want to support. If you're bargaining with the Second Amendment, I have no use for you whatsoever. It's either all or nothing, and that's just the way I see it. So, and that includes accessories. That includes, ammo, whatever. I have said it before. I will say it again. When it comes to the Second Amendment, I think that the only thing that should keep you away from owning any gun you want is how much money is in your wallet.
Oh, look at all the people that's out in the chat now. We got Travis P11, we got C4 Defense, Armament and Axis.
Well, Sarge, I've got you a link, and if Travis would like one, I'd be more than happy to send him one. But that's just always been my thoughts on the Second Amendment. If you can afford to buy it, then you should be able to own it in this country. Period. And without a $200 tax stamp. When the Second Amendment was written, the common man probably had better weapons than what our military had. And that was the whole idea behind it, to keep us up with the military. That way, if the military went stupid, the government went stupid, we would have a way to fight back, a legitimate way. If we're regulated down to a single shot rifle, I don't see that happening. So
it's because they wanted to make sure that this country was always governed by the people.
Exactly.
If the government got too big and we wanted to change it, we could. They didn't. If they had us outnumbered in weapons and everything else, then we'd pretty much be screwed. But they wanted to make sure that didn't happen. That's the way it was with England.
Yeah, pretty much. And you see, it's really simple. It's really simple. I want our government to be afraid of us. I want them to be afraid. I want them to be scared.
Well, they should be. I mean,
I want them to realize that you are elected officials and we put you there. And if it comes to that point, one way or another, we can get you out.
I mean, when you're at work, you're afraid of your boss. Well, we're supposed to be the boss of these people up in Washington. So,
well, see, that's something that the American people tends to forget. We pay their salaries. We buy their food. We pay for their house. We put their kids through their colleges. It's us. They work for us, not the other way around. And as soon as you stop looking at it as, well, the government has all the control and we can't do nothing. You can't fight City Hall. Bullshit. You own City Hall. Without your tax money, City Hall would not exist. So that's just the thing right there that people need to get back in their head, that We run them, they don't run us.
I'd love to go to Washington and look at the White House and the Capitol because I help maintain those. So.
Exactly. Exactly. I honestly think that any common man in this country should be able to pick up his phone, call the White House, and speak one-on-one to the President of the United States any given time he feels like he needs to do so, or any elected official. Said, hey, look, there's an issue. I want to discuss it with you. And if they said, well, I don't have time for that, well, I'm your boss. You make time. You know? Would you walk into your boss's office at work and say, "Hey, look," he says he wants you to do something. You just look at him and say, "Well, maybe later." No, now. Don't work that way. Don't work that way. Well, guess what? I'm your boss. You are their boss. You people out there listening to this, you're supposed to be the ones running the country, not the politicians. They're supposed to be doing what you want them to do.
Yeah, we got to stop treating them like royalty and start
Yeah,
treating them the way they're supposed to be treated.
yeah, exactly. But
And
that ain't gonna happen.
I've met a few politicians in my time, but I ain't never bowed to any of them. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they might be on the phone with assholes all day long midnight, but that's when they decided to do what they're doing, that's the price they pay.
I may be an asshole, but I'd pay taxes.
If I'm paying an employee, I want that employee to at least listen when I have something to say. And right now they ain't.
Especially when I helped get him on in his job.
Yeah, pretty much.
Uh-huh.
So, but then again, like I've said before, what the hell do I know? I'm just a hillbilly from West Virginia.
Wow. Speaking at, did you see the side chat with what I put in there?
No, I haven't, but give me a
Oh,
second and I'll take a look at it. Uh, nope. The answer to that question is nope, or at least the first part of that question.
All right. So the answer to that question, Stephen Dawkins, if you're still out there, is no. PSA doesn't have pistol kits with FN barrels.
Nope, nope, nope. I don't know where that came from, but no.
Yeah, he asked that out in the YouTube chat.
Well. Uh, and just for future references, ladies and gentlemen, that is something I try to avoid talking about on the shows. I do not want work and YouTube to intermix, so I try to stay away from the whole PSA discussions completely. Uh, for several reasons, and one of those reasons being, I do not want a conflict of interest between this and what I do for a living. So those are questions that pretty much off limits.
but I'm pretty sure if you go to that company's website, there are probably contact numbers.
Yep.
People who are paid to answer questions like that.
I know a company that does have AR-15 pistol uppers that use FN barrels. That would be Kari's Guns, KARRI _S Their AR-15s use FN barrel blanks. So if you're looking for something with the FN, that's one that I know for sure does. I have one of their 10.5-inch uppers on my AR-15 pistol, and it works. So if PSA doesn't have one, that's another option for you. and they're fairly reasonably priced for their complete upper kits.
Midnight, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but you've got a link sitting in your email box if you'd like to jump in here. And Sarge, if you're out there, you've got one too.
Sarge said he's getting ready to go to bed soon.
Candy ass. Then again, I guess when you're his age.
There, I threw the phone number out there if you want to call said company. there's their official help center number.
But yeah. So what are the topics that we want to? Oh, you ain't got to be sorry. There, Midnight. Well, we know you're sorry, but you don't have to apologize.
He seemed to be very sure of getting me to do what he wanted.
Yoder's out there.
I see you, Yoder. How you doing, sir? Why did y'all start without me? Well, sir.
Alice's fault.
Yeah, you can blame me for that one. I was tied up, so.
It's just an idea, that's all.
Not in the good way.
Yeah, well. At least not tonight.
Yeah, Sarge is saying thanks for the patch, Gary, by the way. You see it out there.
Hey, you're welcome. That's going to look good on your patch wall, Sarge.
I think
can't wait to see.
Yeah, if it comes down to it, you could probably use it as emergency toilet paper, Gary.
Did you see, Ellis, did you see the picture of the patch that I sent to Sarge?
I did not, sir.
Well, he asked the other day, on his show, he said, I've got this big patch wall and it's got plenty of room, so everybody send me a patch to put on the wall. So I sent him one of my Yankee Marshall patches.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
If Sarge runs out of toilet paper, now he's got an option.
I think you want to send him a Gary Gizzard patch or sticker. That way he can put it on the front of his patrol car or on one of the doors, you know.
Yeah, that would impress people.
Yeah, yeah.
Does Gary even have a Gary patch?
No patches, stickers I have, but no patches.
Send Sarge a sticker. That way he can put it right on the front of his patrol car there. You know, instead of serve and protect, it'll say Gizzard Gary. There ain't nothing says law and order like a cock with a rifle.
Trying to remember if I stuck a sticker in that envelope along with the patch. I thought I did, but I may not have. I know I put one of my business cards in there, but I thought I stuck a sticker in there too.
Apparently, Seven Wonders is nominating his cat for president. I don't know.
Now, look, if there's going to be a cat running for president, it's not going to be that particular cat. It's going to be George.
Are there any cats that are actually over 35 years of age, though?
In cat years, yes. George is over 35 years of age.
I don't know if cat years count.
Well, Sarge, I apologize. I'll get you one.
Cat years always count. So, yes, George can run for president, and he would probably do a better job than the last 4 or 5 we've had.
Probably. I'm thinking about it. The speeches won't be too long if it's a cat, because he'll just get up there and say meow a couple of times, and that'll be the end of it.
It'd sort of be like Groot. It'd be Groot cat or group chat talk from a cat, you know. Meow. And you just got to figure out what each meow means.
Meow.
Meow can mean many different things. It depends on the tone being used.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just get Gary up there to translate for George, and we'll all know.
Midnight Range wants to know if you watched a show last night.
No, sir, I did not. I went to bed.
Because he had a really nice 1911 he's looking at.
Which 1911? That got my attention quickly.
He had an auto ordnance, which was Keller case hardened.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Those auto ordnance are made in the same factory as the Rock Islands.
Right.
They're armed core guns. So those should be a pretty damn good 1911. I wouldn't fault you for it. Now they're going to be bare bones. Keep that in mind.
Well, this thing was all Keller case hardened. It was beautiful looking. The hammer was Keller case hardened. The grip safety was Keller case hardened. I think the only steel external part that wasn't Keller case hardened, if I remember right, was the barrel bushing.
I would love to have a color case hardened 1911. How much was the price on that one there, Midnight?
What did he say, Rich? You remember?
No, I don't actually.
I don't remember either.
I honestly do not. We talked about so much crap last night. I don't remember what the price was.
But that's not a surprise. I mean, it's Midnight Show.
Was it 6 or 7? Seems like $9.50. There you go.
That's not a bad price though.
No,
Especially if it's a good work. I mean, if the fit and finish is good on it, then that's really not a bad price for a color case hardened pistol. Because every one I've ran across are, $1,200, $1,300.
Mine's just a plain old blued 1911.
Mine's not blue, mine's stainless steel, but I like it.
I like mine all right. I mean, I would love to have a new one, but I don't need it. I got my 1911.
I'll tell you what, I've got the money for it right now. And if I wasn't looking for a place to live, I know a gentleman that's got a Remington Rand 1911 that I would absolutely love to have.
Who was it? That one that John Brown. Well, I had a Sunday morning show, and John Brown Productions was on there. Tell him about that one, Rich. Did Rich die?
Yeah, maybe.
If anybody was wondering what the background noise was, I forgot the TV was on, and that was Perry Mason.
Oh, well, thank you.
No, I was saying,
I'll just go ahead and eat that channel strike. Thank you.
Tell Ellis about that 1911 that John Brown Productions had on Sunday morning.
What 1911 did he have?
It was
Remember, I wasn't there at the beginning, so
45 or 46, and I think it was Remington Rand, government issue that his uncle or something had gotten during the Korean War, but it was originally somebody from the Chinese army had it or something like that. This is in mint condition. It's nice.
I know he was showing off a couple of nice AKs later on in the show.
Yeah, go back and watch my show, Alice. All 4 hours of it.
I guess I'll have to do that, or at least part of it. I might not have 4 hours to waste. Who knows?
Are you saying watching my show is a waste of time?
Well, it's better than Midnight's. I mean,
I don't know. Midnight's entertaining. My Sunday morning program is just a place for people to come in and chat. It's more of a lobby than anything else.
Well, that's what it is. Unless I've got something going on, this is pretty much the same thing. But I am going to try to get a few of the guys together for a serious discussion here in a couple of weeks. I wasn't just trash talking earlier when I was talking about getting us all together for another cross-country capital rally. I really think that it's time to do that. I think it's time that we get out there and let people know exactly where we stand when it comes to our guns, our gun rights, and the Second Amendment in general. And I think the best way to do that is to get out there in front of the Capitol buildings in one single loud voice and say, enough is enough. You've gotten away with too much already. We're not going to give you another inch. And quite frankly, if the, you know, NRA don't want to support it, well, then they can kiss my butt because I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm not waiting on the NRA to organize jack shit. I'll tell you that. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, now, Gary, by the way, Gary, did you see what Midnight said out there on the YouTube chat?
About which one?
He was saying that John Brown's 1911 was a 1945 Remington Rand.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I would love to have one of those. And I know a guy that's got one for sale, but I just can't do it right now. I just can't do it right now.
Yeah, how much is he wanting for it?
I think he said he'd take 12.
It's not too bad. What condition's it in?
It's in good condition. It looks it looks good.
So he's not selling you one of those CMP pieces of junk that they're
no this
right now.
This one's got the paperwork and all the goodies. This is a very nice looking gun. This particular individual takes pride in what he owns. So he wouldn't own fakes or knockoffs. So he's also got a Singer 1911. So, which is probably even more rare.
Didn't Rockola make some too?
Yep.
Well,
they made.
Well, you have to remember back during World War II, any company that was involved in steel manufacturing, no matter what it was, all started making guns for the war effort. Singer, I think Kenworth was doing it.
General Electric, General Motors, Westinghouse. I mean, there's all kinds of companies that were involved in the war effort.
Yeah. So it's just, finding them. And like I said, some are a lot more valuable than others. I want the Remington Rand just because it's a Remington Rand.
By the way, some of those Remington stamped weapons are not Remington firearms. They are Remington typewriters.
Yes, that's exactly. All of those old Rands were. They were from the Remington Typewriter Company, not the firearm manufacturer. So
they were too busy making ammo.
Well, both Remingtons actually made firearms because the Remington firearm company itself was churning out Garand, and they were making something else too. I forget what, but it wasn't the 1911. What was it they were making? I know they were making the Garand. Were they making BARs?
I don't know if they were making bars or not.
I know it was something else. They were making some other small arm. I just don't know what it was. But yeah, and they were also making a lot of ammo. Just like every other company that made ammo. Yeah, there was a big push for companies to churn out stuff. I mean, General Motors, you had divisions making firearms and tanks and aircraft. Ford was making tanks, Chrysler, and their various divisions. So I mean, it was full on. I mean, were there any new cars produced during World War II? I don't remember.
No, there was a 4 or 5 years from like 42 to 46 where there were no vehicles produced out of Detroit.
Yeah, and another thing you couldn't get your hands on brand new was a Zippo lighter. Every single Zippo lighter that was being made was bought by the military and put in soldiers' mess kits.
Well, back during World War I, they were all making trench lighters. So Have you ever seen one of those or a real trench lighter?
A trench lighter.
Yep.
Remember if I have or not.
Not sure.
It was a lighter that they would make out of brass, ammo brass. And
Yeah.
those things were actually very cool. Look it up.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. But yeah, during World War II, there were no Zippo lighters on the public market at all. Not a single one. They were all going to the military. So if you got a World War II era Zippo, chances are either it was bought as unused surplus or somebody was carrying it in the field somewhere.
I'm actually looking for a picture of a trench lighter. Well, I can give you an idea of what it was anyway. Let me screen share this. That was a trench lighter.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I've seen those before.
Now the ones that the soldiers were making was made out of ammo brass. So very simple, unique design, but it worked. And then they started making, of course, the Zippos, and these things went the way of the dodo. But I just think there's one, pretty close.
It wouldn't be too hard to turn a piece of brass into a lighter when you think about it.
Oh no, I mean, all the components are already there. I mean, there's one.
Or at least a recreation of one.
Yep. Antique World War I trench lighter. So
It's amazing what those guys would do when they were in those trenches, when they were bored out of their minds, the things that they would do with a piece of brass.
yep. I guess you have to do something to stay sane.
Yeah.
You know, in between getting shot at.
Yeah.
But just it is amazing.
Hey, you need to say hi to your sister. She's out in the chat.
Oh, hi sis.
Yeah.
She says you better acknowledge her presence, Andy.
Yeah. Hi sis. Yeah.
She's out there telling everybody you're Andy.
Yeah, well, that's the middle name, Ellis Andrew. But Mick Foley and Jake the Snake Roberts are going to be at a convention I'm going to this weekend. That is cool.
Oh, that reminds me. Booker T has now tied Ric Flair on a certain accolade.
Oh, and what's that?
They are the only two people to be inducted twice into the WWE Hall of Fame.
He got abducted for Harlem Heat.
Yep.
Very good.
Flair's in there as an individual and with the Four Horsemen, and now Booker T's in there individually and with Harlem Heat.
Yep. Well, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure that eventually they're going to get Arn Anderson in there.
Well, they just fired him.
For what?
Backstage politicking. Apparently, he got into a big argument with Vince McMahon over something, and he was fired the next day.
Huh. Well, I don't think he's hurting too much.
I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up working for AEW.
Somebody will hire him. He's got
Oh,
too much
I'm sure
knowledge.
Cody Rhodes will hire him. If it comes down to it.
He's got way too much knowledge, way too much history. I don't know. But it would be a travesty, even with him getting fired, if they wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame for what he accomplished as a singles wrestler. Never mind what he did as a tag team wrestler.
He's already in there as a member of the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, I know. I know. But, Booker T, it's a good that he's in. There's several others that need to be in there that's not yet. Wahoo McDaniels, I'd love to see him get in there.
Yeah, I don't know if Wahoo ever will make it into WWE Hall of Fame because I don't remember him really ever doing anything with them.
No, but he did. He did wrestle in the NWA.
Yes, he was in the NWA, but he wasn't in WCW. The guys that are going in from like the NWA guys were also guys that were WCW, and WCW is owned by. So, I mean, they have put a couple of Japanese guys in, but there have been Japanese guys that have worked in conjunction with WWE in the past when they would do like talent swaps.
For that matter, the Great Muta should be in there. He's a great Japanese wrestler that held world title.
Muta did do work in WCW, so that is a possibility at some point.
Yep. I'm trying to think. Who else that needs to be there that ain't?
Tully Blanchard.
Absolutely. I agree. As a single
Magnum TA may have had a short career, but that man was on fire until his accident.
He was on a fast track to the world title.
Yes, he was.
If not for that, think about this for a minute. When it comes to Magnum TA, and this is how fate plays into all of this. If Magnum hadn't had the Porsche wreck, Ronnie Darvin would have never owned the world title. They'd have never put it on his waist.
Sting would never. Sting got Magnum's push when after they figured out who. I mean, it took him a couple of years, and let's keep that in mind. But Sting got the push that eventually got the push that was supposed to be Magnum TA's.
I think Sting would have eventually got there. I don't think it would have happened nearly as quickly as it did.
It wouldn't have happened in '89. It would have been a couple of years later.
No, it'd have probably been in 90, 91, 92. He'd have got there eventually. I think the mistake that they would have made, though, putting the title on Magnum, they would try to turn him heel. And that would never have worked with Magnum. That's why it's like, if you remember correctly, it would have been the same thing that they tried with Sting back before WCW went under. They tried to turn Sting heel, and nobody was buying into it. Nobody would go for it. So
here's where I think what happened with Magnum, though, because and what they say was supposed to be the plan was that he was going to win the belt from Flair, and then he was going to feud over the belt between Flair and Nikita Koloff. It was going to be a three-way kind of dance there between the three of them, between Flair, Magnum, and Nikita Koloff. Because remember, they were getting ready to push him too.
Oh yeah,
Magnum got hurt. The U.S. title was put on Nikita.
Yep. They were pushing Nikita. If Nikita hadn't left for that extended period of time that he did, he'd have been a world champion.
Yeah, part of that was because of injury, and part of that was because him and the guy that were running the company at the time were butting heads. Well, that guy butted heads with everybody. That's why Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair both eventually ended up leaving.
So that was just a screwed up time frame in NWA history. That was at that point in time when they were about to move over to the WCW completely, get away from the NWA, and
That was right after Ted Turner had bought
yeah,
WCW. He put one of his buddies in charge who ran a promotion in St. Louis, I want to say, and didn't do a very good job with that. But because he was friends with him, he put him in charge, and he did nothing but argue with the wrestlers. Who, I mean, they had Dusty Rhodes had the book at one time, then Ric Flair had the book, and this guy did nothing but argue with both of them about how to book matches and whatnot. For those of you who don't understand, the wrestler who has the book is the guy that puts together them is the primary guy that puts the matches together. He's basically in charge of who fights who.
and who comes out on top during each match. Um, and a lot of times the way that would work, and a lot of people don't know this, but they let the wrestlers themselves decide who was going over and who wouldn't. Uh, One of the most famous stories out there about that was Randy Savage and Dallas Page. Okay, so Arn Anderson walks back because at that time he's working in the back offices of WCW. He's talking to Randy about the match he was supposed to have with Diamond Dallas Page. Randy says, "I want to take the Diamond Cutter," which of course absolutely floored Arn Anderson because at this point Diamond Page is still mid card. He's not got into that world championship scene at all at this point. He is still mid card, but it's after the whole NWO thing where he diamond cutted Nash and Hall. Okay, he's mid card, he's getting a little heat, fans are getting behind him a little bit. Then Randy Savage says, "I want to take the diamond cutter." That instantly puts Diamond Dallas Page into a top draw situation. If not for Randy Savage, we would have never had a Diamond Dallas Page being a world champion a year later. So that's just I've always thought that was one of the most amazing backstage stories in wrestling history.
They're saying I haven't been into wrestling since the '70s when it was real. Hate to break it to you, Ozzy, it wasn't real back then either.
No.
Pro wrestling's always been scripted, buddy, on who was going to win.
And that's the key word right there. That's the key word, scripted. People call it fake. I'll tell you what, I'd want to see anybody out there listening to this at any given point in time jump in the ring with any of those guys back then and tell them it was fake.
Well, even today, have you seen some of the? They had, I forget what, there was a show, I can't remember what it was. They had somebody, one of the wrestlers was on there, and somebody was saying about how it was fake, and then, well, you want to let me chop you, and we'll see how fake it is. And the guy just went out there and started chopping the hell out of this guy. His chest was all tore up, bleeding, bloody, and nasty. He literally went there. He put all of his weight behind those chops, and the guy was, I mean, he just tore the guy's chest up.
Well, if you remember I think it wasn't the Clash of the Champions match. It was one after that with Ric Flair and Sting. And before that match had ended, Sting had taken so many of those chops that his chest was lacerated.
Oh yeah, I was just watching the match in New Japan a couple of days ago where that happened to somebody.
So when you hear those chops, that's one big man hitting another big man in the chest with a lot of force. Or when you see them hit each other with those weight belts, and you hear that slap. Well, guess what? There ain't too many ways to fake that. No. That's going to leave a mark.
There's something you got to remember about today's wrestlers too. They are stronger than the old guys were.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the weight training and stuff that they have now, these guys are seriously strong.
Now, I will say this. They're probably not as mean as the old guys were. I mean, you got guys like, I wouldn't want to put too many of these new guys in the ring with somebody like a Dick Slater or a Dick Murdoch because I don't think
Have
they
you
fare
have
too
you
well.
have you heard of Minoru Suzuki?
No.
He's been around for like 20 some years. He's a mean some bitch.
Well, yeah, but like you said, he's been around for 20 some years.
Yeah, he's a mean some bitch.
But you take these kids that's just
Yeah.
coming up in the last 10 years. I don't think they could handle somebody like a Dick Murdoch or Bruiser Brody.
I don't know if I would say that. Honestly, there's different people from different places. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I don't either, but
Especially the Japanese guys, because Minoru Suzuki also trained some of these guys in the New Japan dojo. So he puts them through their paces, old school style. So especially these guys that are coming up in Japan right now, yeah, they probably could.
I mean,
Between Minoru Suzuki and Tobei Makabe, I mean, these guys are old school. These guys probably wrestled with Dick Slater and Stan Hansen. I mean, they're older guys. They've been around for a few years.
well, see that again. That's the difference, though.
Yeah.
You're talking about guys that was raised the old way. They came up the hard way.
And that's exactly the way the New Japan Dojo does it.
You know, you listen to some of Ric Flair's old stories talking about Harley Race stabbing him in the hand for reaching to grab a piece of bread.
And don't forget, some of these guys in this country have graduated from Harley Race's wrestling school.
Yeah.
I don't think Harley Race is going to be taking it easy on anybody.
Oh, this is true. Yeah. You got a point there.
Yeah.
But
And by the way, the main guy at WWE's Performance Center teaching the new guys coming up in WWE, he graduated from the Japanese dojo.
so it's just one of those things where it's a matter of perspective, because you have to look at where the older guys came from compared to what the new guys are just getting into. The new guys don't have to worry about jumping in a car, traveling completely across the country just for a one-day match and traveling all the way back in a car.
They actually do that stuff still.
Oh yeah, I know, but nowadays
they're going around doing the house show circuit.
Yeah, but nowadays they pretty much got freeways at 60, 70 miles an hour the whole way. Back then it was 2-lane highways, and
that depends. I mean, if you look at somebody like the Young Bucks, they've been going in, since they're not working for New Japan anymore, to keep up their skills. They're going to all these little independent things around the country doing shows. There ain't no freeways to some of the gyms and stuff they're going to.
yeah.
They documented on their show, Being the Elite, in some of the episodes. They show that where they're going and stuff, and they're already got little country roads and stuff, paved country roads going places. I mean,
Yeah, but
they were doing that kind of stuff when then flying to Japan the next day and wrestling the night they landed in Japan. So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that they have it easier. I mean, if you're in something like WWE, you might have it easier because you can like drive. Your drive consists of maybe going to the airport, depending where you're going next day, or if you're driving like maybe from Pittsburgh to Buffalo or something like that, maybe. But if you're, so if you're in WWE, it might be different. But there's a lot of guys out there.
yeah, those independent guys, they still have to bust their ass. Yeah, I'll give you that. They still have to figure out how I'm going to get from point A to point B, and
Even the guys over in Japan, they drive from city to city.
But still not like it used to be. Some of the stories you would hear some of these guys tell from being on the road, like Michael Hayes used to tell a story about him and Terry Gordy going into a bar and getting into a fight, and some dude starts shooting at him, and Terry Gordy starts laughing about it and when Michael asked him, "Why are you laughing?" Because he missed. That was the reply, because he missed.
Well, the guys today, they're leaving the arena, going to their hotel, and maybe hitting the gym instead of hitting the bar.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I doubt you'll ever hear any Ric Flair stories anymore. That would shock me. The guy leaving from the wrestling match, take a shower, and then go to the bar and party till 3 o'clock in the morning instead of going to bed or going to the gym.
Yeah, the guys today are much more disciplined than what they were in the old days. But that's not entirely true because I mean, there's Jericho's told some stories. Like he had John Cena on his podcast like a year or two ago, and they were telling the story about the one night where Cena was so drunk that he started giving wedding advice, marriage counseling to this one couple that was in this bar. And then by the time he was done giving them marriage counseling, freaking Jericho passed out at the table where him and Cena were sitting at drinking. So Cena grabs another goddamn 6-pack from the bar, carrying that in one hand, carrying Jericho in the other hand, gets Jericho back to Jericho's hotel room, puts him to bed, and sits down and starts listening to Jericho's iPod while drinking the beer that he had just brought from the bar. So, I mean, there might be some cases where even the newer guys still sometimes might get a little carried away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You know,
perhaps,
I would have loved to been in some of those bars with guys like Ming. Just to, you know, I'd love to have a time machine just to go back and watch him bite the dude's nose off. Just, hey, I was there. I seen that shit. I still say to this day, there's probably not a tougher wrestler out there ever than Ming. Period. Just some of the stories you hear about this man are legendary.
yeah, Brody might be up there. I mean, Brody was so tough that the guy that he got in a fight with in Puerto Rico was so scared of him that he just pulled a knife out and stabbed him. So, I mean,
And didn't stab him just once. He stabbed him several times.
yeah, and got away with it.
Yeah. And got away with it. But then again, you start talking about people getting stabbed. I guess Sid Vicious is one tough son of a bitch too.
Which one of them was it that actually got stabbed? Because every time you hear somebody tell it, it's the other one. I know one of them got stabbed with a pair of scissors. I just don't remember which one.
I think they both got fucked up. Yeah. I would probably go as far to say they're probably still not on speaking terms at this point.
Well, there was a lot of times where the guys in the back would get into fights, and then they later on they'd make up and they'd go to the bar.
Yeah.
From Arn Anderson, that's a way of saying it. Him and Sid have made up.
Yeah. Let's hope. But tell you what, I wouldn't want to piss off Arn Anderson or Sid Vicious. To be honest with you, that good lord. Neither one of these two are small gentlemen. I mean, Arn Anderson was pushing what, 305?
Anderson? No, he ain't that big. Anderson's only 200. He's like 235 when he was
He's
wrestling.
bigger than that shit.
No, he wasn't. Arn Anderson was only around 235 when he was wrestling.
Dude, did you see the chest on this man?
Yeah, I know, but he was around 235.
I think he weighed more than that.
No,
I know a quick way to find out.
he was maybe 240, 245 at most. He wasn't no 300.
Well, according to this, it said 255.
Okay. I knew he wasn't no 300.
Lex Luger's 274. Ricky Steamboat 235.
Remember, these are build weights. They will
Yeah,
exaggerate,
yeah.
which is why I'm saying 235, 240. Usually, if you want to know what the true weight of the wrestler was, take off 10, 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the old days. Like now, they're more accurate. I mean, you look at some of these wrestlers; they're booked as being 180, 190 pounds, and they look it.
Yep.
I don't know how they were back in the old days, but I know back when I used to play high school football, it wasn't uncommon at all when we'd print out the programs. We'd add 25 pounds to every guy just to make our team look bigger on paper.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. I mean, they did that same thing in pro wrestling. The general rule was take off 10 to 20 pounds off of the guys, and you'll have what their actual weight was.
Lord, you know Ricky Steamboat's 60 years old, 68.
Yep. Yeah, remember we were talking. What was it last week before? We were talking about when they had Ric Flair's thing get interrupted by Batista, and I was telling you about how they said that their feud actually started in 1977.
That's amazing. I guess Terry Funk's got to be close to 70 then.
Oh, he's over 70, and that son bitch is still wrestling.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy mother.
He's just tough as nails, bro.
Yeah, he's also crazy as all hell. He's
70.
That man is nuts.
74 years old, 246 pounds. That man's going to die in the ring.
Oh, he wouldn't be the first.
No.
He wouldn't be the first. There was a guy who was 80-some years old that had a heart attack in the ring and died. Not that long ago, too, I might add.
I honestly think that's the way Terry's going to go out. He's just going to be in the middle of a match and fall over.
Yeah, and he's not wrestling just standard matches either. That guy's out there 70-some years old doing death matches.
Yeah.
And he's nuts.
Well, hell, Sting's 59. I didn't know Sting was that old.
You got to remember, he started early 80s. Him and Ultimate Warrior.
Yep. Damn. That shit makes me feel old.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, boy, I'm telling you. Because I used to watch it. Hey, you got to remember, I was watching these guys when I was a kid.
So was I. We watched the same wrestling programs. We talked about it before.
Yep. Ron Simmons is 60. Good Lord, man.
Guys, I'm probably going to have to bail. It's past midnight here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna call it quits. We done quirked the hell out of the Daily Gun Show tonight. I don't normally do that, but I decided to run it tonight. So we're gonna call it quits, guys. We're getting out of here. We're all going to bed, I think. Gary, what you got to plug?
Foul Territory Friday nights, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Sunday morning early bird chat somewhere around 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. GizzerGary.com. Like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for the invite. And make sure and like, share, and subscribe to both Unloaded Media and the Outlaw Hatfield channels.
One will bore you to death, and one might have some good information. Who knows?
And give him the bird.
Rich, what you got, brother?
Well, Gary already plugged my channel, Unloaded Media, but every Sunday night over there around 8 p.m. Easternish, we have This Week Unloaded, so check that out. And after that, usually be on the closer and turn up on various other shows during the course of the week.
I just happen to be off Sunday, so depending on what's going on, I might decide to jump in there.
All right, I'll send you a link on gun channels.
Roger that. Anyway, guys, we're getting out of here. Y'all have fun. Take care. Be safe. God bless you. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.